Hey everybody, it's Jenn with Lady Tarot 911. Happy new moon in Cancer. How y'all doing? Okay, let's just jump right in. To give you a little astrology, the new moon in Cancer is simply like saying before you build your future, you have to make peace with your past. This is talking about healing emotional wounds, revisiting unfinished conversations, maybe letting go of outdated beliefs or family patterns, which we've talked about in the last read that I did, creating a stronger emotional foundation and beginning something new with greater self-awareness, which makes sense because starting a new cycle, that would indicate that you want to start on solid, fresh ground, new beginnings, which is what new moons are about. But it wants you to not bring along any past baggage to the new cycle. And that's why the transits are hearkening, if you will, to have you reflect, reevaluate anything that needs to be finished, tie up loose ends, and especially before the node switch, which is at the end of the month. Okay, so that just gives you a little astrology, kind of what's going on. I've already Palo Santo'd. We're just going to jump right in. Let's see where the energy is for my viewer, for you guys at this time. On the deck, must give up something is what I first recognized on this card. Some type of sacrifice, probably in going with the theme of the astrology, giving potentially something up from the past or sacrificing something, maybe a way of living, ideals, old patterns, coping mechanisms, way that you do daily life or the way that you think about things needs to be adjusted. This doesn't have to be just a loss of money or a relationship. This could be the ways, cognitively. But okay, this looks like a treetop or snowflake. And snowflakes in the oracle decks talk about, because each snowflake they say is not like the other, finding a uniqueness, finding your authentic, genuine differences and embracing those is what it feels like this energy is maybe saying, giving up on an old way of being just because it is the way that everybody else thinks or does it or believes that does not necessarily make it correct for you, right? Okay, tell me more about this. Tell me more about my collective. Tell me more about the current energy message that you wanted. Somebody is very emotional, feeling like they've just hit rock bottom, potentially being held down by maybe these ideals, these beliefs, this road, the path, the life that was chosen, this relationship, this job, whatever this is to somebody, has been almost like an anchor pulling somebody down in their emotions. Somebody has hit like an emotional low, is what this looks like. Okay, tell me more about this. What is this about? Could be friendships, or somebody is with somebody. There's question about loyalty and support. Somebody doesn't feel supported in their relationship or in a business. Yeah, because it's a superficial connection and it's transactional. This connection that somebody is in has anchored them down because it's been transactional and just about investment or money, union of convenience. There's been a real conflict with something deeper, where true loyalty and support lies, trust in this relationship. I'm not sure if this is you or your person, but they've hit an all-time low because the holes in, like the gaps in the snowflake, let's say this was your person, the gaps in this person were thought to be filled by whatever connection this is, and it could have very much involved contracts, legalities, money, bribes, manipulation. I'm hearing embezzlement, some type of funding. Somebody funded the loyalty or was funding the companionship, but it didn't fill the gaps. It didn't fill, like it was artificial. It's kind of like the red coating on these gold coins. It reminds me of like that wax to pull back on somebody's heart. It was coded. It was coded in false relationship because it was based on only money, not true love. It's the current situation. Yeah, because of intimacy, a lack of intimacy. That's why somebody is drowning. It doesn't feel like they belong where they're at. They don't feel like that's home for them. Or this could have been unrequited, not reciprocated between the two parties or in the relationship. And this could be business relationship. It doesn't have to be love, but I went with love because of the hearts. Oh, and here's another heart. Yeah, vulnerability, ready for true love. Yep, see, look at that. Look at how that came out. Somebody is tired of this loyalty and support coming from the transactional funding of it. And this has caused somebody to really fill the gaps, fill the holes, and anchor them down emotionally. Their emotions have not been able to flow in a unique, authentic way because there wasn't true love here. There's not a closeness. There's a transactional, I think is probably the best word, transactional connection. And that's where it was cut off, just on the surface, on the top of the water, not getting into emotions, not talking about emotions, not caring or not, discussing how somebody feels about certain things, lack of compassion. And they've hit rock bottom when it comes to this fake facade, this pretend young, immature type of situationship. Let's pull some tarot on this. Where is this headed with this person who is maybe hitting rock bottom? Where's this going, or what's going to happen? The only way up from rock bottom, the only way from rock bottom is up, right? So what is this person going to do essentially, or where's this at right now? Where's it going to go potentially? And I do believe that it's potentially romantic connection because of these two people. It could be buying love, by somebody staying together in a marriage, two people staying together in a marriage because of the potential of losing finances if they get out of it. If it's authentic and real, expressing how they truly feel about something, maybe somebody else that they love, or somebody who I'm getting, this person feels a loyalty over here, but the heart and the soul and the deep emotion belong over here. But as long as their money or the investment or time they feel has been given to the loyalty on this side, they could feel like they're drowning in their emotions, keeping them repressed, not expressing them, because they feel like they have to keep them on the surface level. Now, there's a lot of water here. So this could be, I've got Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces energy here. I've also got this fire energy. So Aries, Leo, Sag. Pentacles is Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. I don't have a lot of air in this, but we'll see what happens. These are just elements that are overtaking the reading at this time. Where is this going? Where is this headed? Yeah, dry as a desert, because somebody is not expressing their feelings. And it's quite the contrast between, and it is because they're being so logical about this, the Pentacles, about the money, and the logic is the air. Here's the air. So we have all the elements here. Here's the air, right? Because it can be very windy in the desert. And air is Libra, Gemini, Aquarius. This is showing that even though they have repressed emotions, somebody is being very logical, very practical, very in their head about, because feeling like they have to keep it dry in the desert. They can't express the emotions, which is the water. So they're drowning in repressed emotion because their survival. Potentially somebody is paying for a home, car. Potentially there is family, business. Family is bosses. The situation maybe involving a close partner, has something to do with a job and money being brought in. But this being authentic is a no-go to this person because they believe that their survival depends on it. And if they were to bring up any emotions, come to the surface and be able to express these emotions, go deeper, that it would cause tension and problems and potentially sacrifice, potentially burn up a superficial connection over here that just looks pretty, that looks like it's managing at this time. Okay, what message do you want me to give? We're going to pull tarot on it as well, but tell me about my viewer. Tell me about my viewer. Where are you at? And connect this however you see fit. This could be you instead of the viewer, or you are the viewer. You instead of your person. You as the viewer. But okay, so tell me. We're going to grab this one right here. Yeah, so you're in hold mode, waiting. Essentially, this could be subconsciously. Actually, I think that potentially your patience have run out because you're not here. You've left. And I think that subconsciously, there was a long time that you did wait for some type of change, some type of movement, an arrival of somebody. You waited in the waiting zone with patience for a really long time, and nothing ever changed, nothing ever shifted, nothing was accounted for, and you left. There's nobody here. It's empty. You were waiting, but I believe that, and especially if like you're the divine feminine, your patience ran out. Tell me more. Yeah, the investment. What about bank? Yeah, this investment, and this one's popping out too. This one wants to be seen. Let's look at this one. You were that comfort and that warmth with flowing emotions. You kept things going while potentially somebody was MIA, running or unavailable or too busy. Could have been too busy in a job, could have been held back by people getting in the way of there being change or shifting or movement, or your person going a different direction. Or if this is you, somebody got in the way of you being able to transform and adjust and grow and ascend because it suited them to puppet you financially or attention wise. You, my viewer, were able to see if there wasn't an investment being made. This says vault of valuables. So the investment was closed down by this person. And this caused you to have to see it for what it is and see the bigger picture, that somebody didn't arrive, somebody wasn't available, somebody never showed up. They didn't show up for you. They didn't come to fix anything. And this could be something that somebody is looking at in this new moon in Cancer, because like I mentioned, it's about looking at the past. And when we're talking about Cancer, we all know that Cancer is about home and comfort and security. As we're in the new moon in Cancer, it's where the rivers were flowing, where the comfort was, where the environment was the richest, was what you were trying to harness and keep available for somebody, but they were too locked away with the concerns about safety, security, money, working harder and not smarter type of situation. You were able to see above the chaos and see the bigger picture, the skyline, that it was remaining dry and that somebody wasn't showing up to express their emotions, to have any reciprocal type of relationship or communication. And you left. You had to leave for you. You had to reinvest, rejuvenate, and invest in yourself, because any type of partnership or working together or mission or purpose or direction with somebody didn't become available again. This is about your person, if it's not you, and then this is the opposite. This to me is talking about, which makes sense with Uranus, because Uranus again is about epiphanies, wake up, spiritual awakenings, enlightenment, consciousness, aha moments. There is the sun that's coming, which is enlightenment. I'm hearing new information is coming about, or this wake up moment, this understanding of what truly was lost moving forward is going to take somebody back to the past to identify where this went wrong and go inward. Oh, this came out. Sharing resources. Somebody is in a situation where they've worked hard to obtain a certain level of status and are now reaping the rewards. And this is talking about being open as we move forward through the age of Aquarius. We are moving on from the building my own empire to community, help, bartering, working together, a collaboration, networking, a community base versus a solitary base. I feel like somebody wants to now invest in you or your situation. They're not sure how to come in, and they're thinking that maybe they need to buy your love, or somebody bought their love and affection, maybe promised sharing resources. But sharing resources is where we are heading towards, to be able to get to a point where there is less of a lack mentality and a scarcity, because scarcity causes low vibration. And to counter that, the need to help other people is going to be great. The responsibility will be ours to help other people. What is that saying? I have been given much, so then too must I give, or something like that. That parable or saying came to mind. Tell me more about the sharing resources. What are you trying to... Yeah, collaboration, because a 4 and an 8 is 12, and 12 is a 3 card, and 3 is about collaboration, about building. Tell me more about this. Overwhelmed, and this is another 3 card. What's at the bottom? There's a change up of this situation. Somebody who has been completely overwhelmed with choices, direction. Maybe this is your person on this side who has been overloaded with options in people, options in directions, options of what to do, where to go. decisions, determining what's best for them. Over here, you are taking on more of a letting go, releasing to God, divine, universe, allowing, which is a form of manifesting and receiving and not resistance. I think this is trying to say that these are like two ends of the spectrum. And your person, if this is your person who's been very overwhelmed by pure control over situations in their life, afraid to budge at all, make any mistakes, probably walking on eggshells, fear of scarcity, fear of lack, creating all this resistance, right? You see how tightly they're holding on to money. This person is just sitting back, just allowing what universe is bringing into them, receiving, leaning back and not leaning in, and allowing the universe to provide, as the universe has a higher perspective as well. But if this is you, this could be about collaboration or, building. But I'm really getting that you're working towards a situation, a job, some type of side hustle or entrepreneurship business that will be working itself. Even as you rest, as you sit back, your business can and will be earning money for you without your constant input. This is going to be something that in different ways you and your person are being asked to, or being pushed into, getting out of these comfort zones, the comfort zone of hanging on so tight that there's resistance, and which is mirroring, and you're learning, and you maybe are ahead of that mentality, ahead of that lesson, and have learned to allow, if this is you and your business or your job and God, divine, universe, then that's the three, that's the collaboration. If this is you and a side hustle and divine, universe, that's three, that's a side hustle, or that's a side hustle, that's a collaboration. It's like the triangle working together with divine in the center of that collaboration. And you're learning the true blessings and miracles, abundance in life, coming from releasing and letting go of anything that you are holding too tightly to, because it's kept you in a comfort zone where there isn't any growth. And when we get out of our comfort zones and we step into the unknown, or we learn something different, we go a different direction, we experience new things, is where we find the greatest jump of growth and ascension. In those moments, it's the growth that comes first that then builds the confidence after. Somebody has been just maybe lazy or hanging out or not doing anything about a situation, but there's a change, because this is a 5 card. There's a change of this just waiting around. We talked about that, waiting with this card right here, the bus stop. You moved forward or left waiting on somebody or for something from somebody, and they are changing and growing and moving out of whatever situation or conflict, legality, family situation, business partnership, romantic relationship, whatever it is. They're moving beyond that. I see that with the plane. They're moving beyond that in something that they haven't done anything about in a long time. It's something that is uncomfortable. They maybe aren't used to taking certain actions or standing up for themselves, or going a different direction than what maybe they've been told they're going to go or expected to go. They're having to, get a lot of courage in regards to this change and getting out of their comfort zone, just as you did. I think it just seems like it's a little more peaceful for you on your side, maybe potentially because you've already gone through this lesson. And right now it's just real downtime. You've learned to release that control and always having to keep a hold of everything and arrange your life in a perfect manner. And, I have done that recently, just allowed whatever's going to happen and go with the flow. I tell you, I never knew. I could have ever guessed where I've ended up. I had no idea. We'll just leave it at that. I am stunned. I had no idea about where I ended up, and it ended up about a million times better than the plan that I had. I'm very grateful for that, because I did just throw up my hands. I got so stressed and tired of constantly having to try and have the answers, make sure all the puzzle pieces fit correctly. It was exhausting, and it ran me down, I've told you before, to a point of just crawling. There's just been a lot that's happened in this last 5 years, and I have already lived, or I'm currently living this right along with you guys, and I can very much say that I'm at this point where everything has worked out just beautifully. I think I talked about it before. It was more of a rebellious thing. It was like, I am fed the F up. Fine, I don't care where I go, what I do, what happens. Just show me what you want from me and I'll do it. When I did that is when every single thing fell in place. It was just incredible. I think that I was being shown that so that I could teach that. Let's pull some tarot on this real quick. How is this person feeling about my viewer at this time? How is this person or their person that's on the viewer's mind? There's huge regret potentially about, now the sand, I'm thinking of sands of time, of wasted time. I was talking about the spiritual awakening here, right? With these two cards, with the sun, right? There has been some type of epiphany or moment or something has happened that has caused somebody's intuition to perk up, to open up their third eye, their realizations or understanding that time has slipped away, worried about missing an opportunity. Yeah, look at that, Ten of Swords, Judgment on Ten of Swords. Yep, look at this, Fool, new beginning. It's kind of like this polar opposite. It's the ending and new beginning. But as this ending takes place, before this new beginning, like we talked about, making peace with the past, making good, fixing, handling, addressing, reevaluating, accepting, whatever it is, your person or you, take it however it connects, is looking back with a lot of regret and sadness about potentially letting something or opportunities or something slip in between their fingers, and the sands of time, wasted time. And there's a real judgment being called. This person is calling it almost looks like on themselves. There's been this awakening for somebody to see exactly what took place, what has happened, what the problems were. Again, Saturn comes into play and wants us to learn those lessons, right? But before this ending, we're being forced in this Cancer new moon, and as there's an upcoming full moon in Aquarius that is coming up at the end of the month as well. But this is reflection on seeing things in the past, but having the third eye open, having intuition open when you go back, essentially, so that you can, or your person can, have more knowledge, have more intuition, have more direction to potentially handle something, deal with something, tie up something, or this could be you, or this could just be in your mind creating a closure or handling a situation differently with more knowledge, more understanding than they did the first time round. It's that second chance. I was talking about that in my last read about there being like one final chance to change or fix or correct a situation in the past, but it's not being done blindly because of the Judgment card, because of the spiritual awakening. Forgiving, we're being asked to forgive ourselves and forgive others, but doing it for yourself and not for anybody else. But having forgiveness is going to change and almost time bend this direction, because it's like the Mandela effect, right? You change anything from the past, it's not going to have the same effect or the same outcome moving forward. And that adjustment, the universe needs it to happen that way because of the new consciousness and cycle and transits that are going to be playing out. It needs to tweak the outcomes because they weren't originally supposed to go this way. But like I talked about in my other reads, even if you go a certain direction, and I was just talking to my kids about this, how funny. Even if you go a certain direction, there shouldn't be the word regret. I don't think that word should have ever been created, because regret means shouldn't have done, which in all reality, if a path, a decision, a relationship, a business, whatever was chosen and it wasn't for your highest good or your person's highest good, it's not something to be regretful about. It's something they've got to learn those lessons, or they learned a lot about themselves, or they found the root cause of why those decisions were made. And so that direction wasn't in vain. The decision wasn't in vain. The person they chose, the business they decided to do, the impulsivity, the whatever it was not in vain, but they're learning a lot of lessons in that direction that was not of the highest good. And the universe needs us to adjust and tweak that way that things were handled in the past to be able to move forward and to move forward cleanly. Essentially, get us to rejuvenate our spirit and our lives, clean things up, and almost be, baptized in the waters, rejuvenation in our emotions, be clear, be straight with ourselves and transparent with others moving forward, because we can't go into this new cycle and into this new consciousness as those that are awakening, those helping others, when we have the anchor. Remember I talked about the anchor holding on to us and holding us down. We're not going to be able to rise and bring up the vibration in the world, within the consciousness, within society and the collective, if we're weighed down by things of the past as well. It's almost like with all these transit, it lines up to be this beautiful, perfect alignment to, which we're in right now, this new moon in Cancer, to handle the past before moving forward. Deal with, accept whatever it is that you need to do before this. And this says it so beautifully right here, right? look at regrets, nostalgia, missed opportunities from the past, there being an awakening about this, and then there being some way of handling this in a different way than before to be able to end this cycle and move forward. I can tell you right now that one answer to this, no matter what your situation is to allow. And that's what this one is saying, to collaborate with God, divine, universe, spirit guides, spirit frequencies, to allow endings and new beginnings to happen, allow intuition to guide, allow and not resist. And when you just throw up your hands and you look in the hands, yeah, when you're able to fully trust that the universe has your back, butterflies are about transformation. It does transform your new journey and who you are, because you're starting it as if, like, I can imagine like Fool stepping through a portal or a veil, or this, when I'm talking about time bending, this time shift, moving forward, almost being cleansed, or leaving the lessons and everything from the past cycle behind and stepping through with clear intentions, emotions, direction, clarity. And that's what's being asked of us right now. That's why these transits are happening the way that they're happening currently in the month of July. And we talked about Barbeau's basket. And Barbeau's basket was, remember I talked about there being a big, huge collective shift. This could be a quantum leap for the collective, or this could just be, some type of time bending, time maneuvering adjustment, almost adjusting like the Mandela effect, and adjusting because where you're going is not going to look like it would have without doing this little adjustment in the past. Hopefully that makes sense. I'm going to just get you one advice card and then I'm going to let you go. That was beautiful. Interesting. And we're all on this trajectory. We might be on different timelines, but this is the energy that's currently working right now to our advantage to be able to do this. So that one right there. Okay. Auric field. Your vibe is a gift. It is time to clear your auric field and protect it. Purify and restore your energy. Isn't that what I just said? Isn't that what I just said? Purify and move forward. That's what this read is talking about. This is what you and your person are being given the opportunity to do. And I mean, you might have already done this. This does have a lot to do with moving from 3D to 5D, from materials, which we talked about in the last reading. I told you before, my reads all connect together. And that last read talked about moving on from just material wealth being your only frame of abundance versus the peace, the emotional balance, the blessings of not having to have all the answers, yet still being given all of the blessings and attracting through doing it this way. This being the miracle of manifestation, this being the answer. This is like the gem. This is in the treasure chest, learning how to let go and allow, become neutral, that 0 point, allow whatever's going to happen, and that you're going to be okay either way. You're going to be okay no matter what happens. You're going to be okay because you will be on your path and you're being guided by divine, by, just allowing. And here's here's the overwhelmed, working hard for, and getting a spiritual awakening about this money. Where does your loyalty lie? This is asking you, where is it going to lie? Is it going to still lie here where you're just completely burnt the F out? Or money and more money and more money that doesn't fill the void? Or are you going to choose to end that cycle, do it a different way, learn from missed opportunities, take a leap of faith, start clear, clean, purified, and move forward into the new energy, being able to sit back and have a peace that maybe you have never felt before or felt in a long time by just allowing. This could be in a relationship coming together, in money flowing, in job shift or change, following your passion, raising your vibration, becoming more magnetic. They all go hand in hand. That is truly beautiful. Where do I want to put this? I guess we'll just put this right here. All right, you guys. There you go. Happy new moon in Cancer. Hopefully that helps you. Have a great night.